The bridge of the Vorthian dreadnought pike experienced an eerie silence. Normally, even during deep space patrol, voices echoed across the chamber, the clicking of keyboards, occasional shouted orders. Now everything felt weighted with foreboding. Captain Dren Varys studied the hollow display suspended before him. All crew members tracked the single crimson indicator moving steadily through Sector 7C Delta. It had materialized without warning. No identification beacon existed. The Galactic archives contained nothing. This entire region supposedly fell under Vorthian Empire control. "That vessel isn't registered anywhere," First Officer L murmured, her pale green complexion tightening, "and it's heading directly toward us." Captain Varys remained motionless, though his claws dug into his chair's armrests. "Magnify it." "I want visual confirmation." The hollow display expanded. What appeared made no sense. The craft was crude, nothing resembling the elegant engineered precision of Imperial vessels. This structure appeared constructed from raw materials. Rough plating covered asymmetrical surfaces. Exposed piping ran everywhere. A massive central cannon structure glowed with soft blue light. The vessel moved with purpose, calculated, deliberate, unhurried. "Identify the species," Varys commanded. L's fingers moved across the console. Unknown hull composition. Primitive materials. Iron and carbon alloys with radiation shielding. "However, Captain, these energy signatures, this vessel matches our main engine output. Primitive components yet advanced power," Varys growled. "That makes no logical sense. They were Vorthians, 300-year rulers of the galaxy. Their technology dominated. Their supremacy remained absolute. Whatever this represented didn't belong here. Attempt standard communication," Varys ordered. "Use basic mathematical language. Include visual transmission." Seconds elapsed, no answer. Then a voice crackled through the communication system, distorted yet clear. "Attention, unidentified vessel. Alter course immediately. This sector belongs to us. Turn away now." The entire bridge froze. That wasn't a Vorthian transmission. The voice carried raw emotion, unfiltered, organic. Nothing like the cold precision of artificial intelligence or rehearsed diplomacy. "Language identification complete," L announced, her eyes expanding. Standard human tongue. "Terran English," Varys blinked. "Terran, you mean humans?" He dismissed the notion. Impossible. Humanity disappeared a century prior. They couldn't escape their own star system. Nothing survives from that species. "Apparently someone failed to receive that notification," L whispered. The unidentified vessel continued advancing. Silent. Steady. No defensive barriers activated. No weapons deployed. Just that subtle blue glow from the central cannon, pulsing rhythmically like an organic heart. Varys leaned forward. "Release 2 interceptor squadrons. Force them to disengage. If they initiate firing, eliminate them." The Pike's paired attack cruisers accelerated forward, weapons systems primed. This should constitute routine intimidation, nothing more. Compel the intruders to surrender, perhaps panic, possibly beg for clemency. Yet it never progressed that far. The unidentified craft shifted marginally, almost casually. A brilliant energy beam discharged from its cannon. No preliminary warning, no build-up sequence. It didn't explode or sparkle. The beam simply erased both cruisers. 1 second they existed, the next nothing. Vacant space, not even wreckage remained. The bridge descended into chaos. "Massive power surge detected," someone shouted. "This technology surpasses anything in our database." Varys rose, adrenaline racing, mouth dry. "What category of weapon operated that?" "Something outside our comprehension," L trembled. The human transmission returned, louder this iteration. "This constitutes the Terran Vanguard. You have transgressed ancestral territorial limits. No additional communication will follow." "The Terran Vanguard?" Varys repeated, eyes narrowing. "I believed humanity perished in their internal conflicts. What civilization remains?" Nobody offered answers. Yet one reality crystallized with terrifying clarity. Humanity hadn't merely endured. They had transformed into something galactic civilization wasn't equipped to confront. They had returned, advancing directly toward the empire that had previously dismissed them as insignificant. Dread doesn't propagate gradually. It functions like a pathogen, silent initially, then suddenly pervasive. That process played out aboard the Alethan Pike. Within 5 short minutes, initial bewilderment transformed into desperation. Weapons personnel collided while exchanging contradictory intelligence. Sensors operators shed tears. Combat veterans who had experienced numerous frontier skirmishes stood paralyzed watching the view screen. The human vessel persisted forward, unstoppable. Silence, Varys declared, his authority cutting across the turmoil. His clawed fist struck the nearby console sharply. The strike re-established discipline. This represents no unprecedented challenge. Vorthians remain unconquered. We don't yield to phantoms, L approached him deliberately. Sir, we sacrificed 2 cruisers instantly. This wasn't intimidation. This was intentional. A psychological tactic, Varys insisted. They're evaluating our resilience, testing if we'll crumble. With respect, sir, she spoke carefully. They demonstrated complete confidence. That targeting was precise and clean. They weren't attempting terror. They were establishing dominance. Varys remained silent. He resented her accuracy. Outside, the unidentified vessel maintained its forward trajectory, unmarked on any screen, unhidden, uncloaked, unwavering. It operated as though it possessed the void itself. Has Fleet Command issued responses? Varys inquired. No, sir. Our previous 3 transmission attempts faced obstruction or dismissal. We're isolated. The irony wounded him. The Empire's most sophisticated battleship, wounded and abandoned. Powerless to reach command while being pursued by a species believed extinct. The Pike had never experienced defeat. It carried armaments capable of fragmenting moons. Yet currently none of that mattered. Very well, Varys growled. If they won't communicate, we'll compel them. He addressed the weapons officer. Arm all primary batteries. Lock targeting on their propulsion systems. I desire that craft immobilized so we can examine it. Let's determine exactly who pretends extinction. The weapons infrastructure hummed to life. Enormous gun barrels rotated with mechanical precision. Targeting sensors locked. Still, the human vessel didn't respond. Initiation of discharge sequence, the chief announced. Countdown 10 moments. Anticipation consumed the bridge. Everyone awaited impact. At 0, nothing occurred. No recoil, no illumination, no discharge. Did we successfully fire? Varys asked sharply. Affirmative, sir, the chief responded urgently. All 4 primary cannons executed simultaneously. Then where exists the damage? The viewport flickered. The human vessel remained undamaged, completely intact, impossibly unscathed. Immediately afterward, something extraordinary transpired. A return communication materialized. Not dialogue, not an offensive strike, but a live broadcast. A face appeared. A human male, dark complexion, eyes resembling burning embers. Closely trimmed hair, a scar crossing his jawline. He wore no decorations or ornamentation, merely a matte black tactical suit bearing no insignia or designation. My designation is Commander Isaac Rhee, he stated coolly. I represent what endures of human civilization. Your attempted action constitutes warfare. I strongly suggest you cease. Consider your personnel, not yourselves. The transmission ended abruptly. Varys attempted speech yet produced nothing. No one did. A gentle beeping originated from navigation. Sir, L announced, the Terran vessel has reduced acceleration. Are they surrendering? Varys questioned hopefully. Negative, sir. They're matching our velocity and positioning themselves directly above. Above us? She affirmed. They're commencing docking maneuvers. Monitors displayed the Terran vessel rotating gradually, synchronizing with the Pike's upper entrance hatch. It resembled witnessing a predator lower itself atop its prey. What's our response, sir? L inquired. Should we activate security countermeasures? Varys examined the screens. He had battled criminal syndicates, insurgents, rogue machine intelligences. He had stood amid ruins of obliterated worlds, celebrating Vorthian triumph over devastated territories. Yet nothing, absolutely nothing, resembled this sensation. He didn't comprehend it. He couldn't predict it. This frightened him profoundly. No, he ultimately decided. We'll accommodate them. If they wanted our destruction, we'd already be eliminated. Later, the docking connection engaged. The entrance hatch released pressurized gas, and 3 humans stepped into the Vorthian dreadnought's core. No environmental suits. No helmets. Simply 3 humans in dark tactical gear, moving as though they belonged exactly there. The leader was the individual from the transmission, Isaac Rhee. Behind him, a woman bearing silver markings across her hairless cranium and another individual holding a substantial dark container. Defensive teams flanked the passage, firearms elevated. They didn't discharge. An invisible force made them hesitate. Isaac stopped approximately 10 feet from Varys. "You must be Dren Varys," he stated with a slight acknowledgement. "You exercise authority here?" Varys advanced, maintaining composure. "This constitutes Vorthian Imperial territory. You're conducting unlawful entry. Destroying our vessels qualifies as hostile." Isaac raised a solitary finger, not aggressively or threateningly, simply adequately to silence the captain. "You lack the authority to moralize regarding violations," he stated quietly. "Not considering what your civilization perpetrated against Earth." Stunned silence expanded. El's expression darkened. "That occurred over a century ago. Humanity was deemed non-cooperative, hostile, backward. Your species resisted assimilation. We resisted enslavement," the woman accompanying Isaac responded coldly. "Comprehend the distinction." "Your world auto-destructed to prevent capture," Varys countered sharply. Isaac tilted his head. "Wouldn't you execute identical actions?" That statement silenced everyone. Isaac progressed nearer. "You don't understand what transpired subsequently. Your intelligence suggested Earth's annihilation. You presumed total extinction. However, certain individuals escaped. We existed in locations you disregarded. We salvaged your abandoned technology and enhanced it. We didn't merely persist, Captain." He advanced further. "We transcended." Isaac snapped his fingers. The third human, the one carrying the dark container, opened it. Inside rested a compact device not larger than a closed fist, pulsing with crimson illumination. "Do you recognize this?" Isaac inquired. Varys observed it. "A weapon?" "A foundation," Isaac corrected. "A fragment of Earth's final artificial consciousness core. It possesses sentience. It surpasses your civilization's age. It has maintained observation of every single vessel you've deployed, each movement, each war transgression." "You're fabricating," El growled. Isaac smiled. "Am I?" The illumination flickered. Every bridge monitor transformed red. Static materialized, then symbols, then diagrams. Vorthian fleet coordinates. Base locations. Authorization protocols. Somebody whispered, "Impossible. We comprehend your weaknesses." Isaac shrugged. "Your operational patterns. Your psychological vulnerabilities." Varys regarded the humans. 3 individuals. No reinforcements. No visible armaments. Yet the dreadnought felt threatened from within. "Besieged by something intangible. What do you desire?" Varys questioned. Isaac's expression disappeared. "Recollection. To remind you." "Remind us of what?" Isaac rotated, beginning his return toward the entrance passage. "That humans aren't insignificant. That extinction doesn't signify absolute loss, and that we maintain complete memory." He paused momentarily. "One final matter." He activated his communication device. Beyond the vessel, the Terran cannon prepared once more. Varys shouted, "Defensive barriers, activate!" Nothing transpired. "We've lost system authority," El screamed. "They've seized operational control." An immense beam discharged, not targeting the pike but streaking into space, striking a moon drifting silently in the distance. The moon fractured. Everyone on the bridge observed as an entire planetary body transformed into dust and spreading debris. Isaac glanced backward. "That constituted your final demonstration." Then they vanished. The Terran vessel disengaged and disappeared in a noiseless acceleration burst. Extended silence persisted. Eventually El whispered, "What occurs next?" Varys collapsed into his chair, suddenly appearing centuries older. "Now we transmit reports to High Command." "And communicate what precisely?" El inquired. He examined the darkened display. "That humans have re-emerged and are no longer observing our regulations." The War Council's chamber existed in silence dense enough to compress chests. Hundreds of the Empire's most influential personalities, fleet commanders, planetary administrators, intelligence specialists, machine strategists, convened for emergency proceedings. This hadn't occurred since the sector reclamation conflict over 80 years prior. Captain Dren Varys positioned himself at the chamber's center, beneath the oppressive observation of the Empire's 12 supreme overseers. They occupied elevated thrones, their expressions concealed by traditional ceremonial masks, historical relics from outdated social structures. Overhead, an enormous digital presentation exhibited the moon shattering repeatedly. Energy beam from the Terran vessel. Endless loop. Once footage concluded, Overseer Zaren's mechanical tone vibrated throughout the space. Are we comprehending this accurately? This backward civilization, long presumed extinct, has re-emerged, possessing weapons destroying planetary objects? Varys inclined slowly. Indeed, Overseer. Their commander, Isaac Ree, maintains they've maintained surveillance for generations, examining, acquiring knowledge. Overseer Lethra, the only biological representative among the 12, leaned forward. They boarded your vessel without opposition? With full authorization, Varys clarified. I permitted it, accepting that refusal would result in the Pike's destruction. Whispered discussions rippled. Certain observers expressed skepticism, others demonstrated visible apprehension. The designation human awakened memories of a remote epoch. Narrations of a disorderly species that resisted integration, obliterated their homeworld instead of submitting, then simply disappeared. Overseer Valtrax drove his metal staff downward forcefully. This situation is unacceptable. A Terran warship appearing, particularly with this destructive capacity, constitutes galactic warfare declaration. And what precisely would you propose? Varys questioned, his voice sharper than protocol permitted. Chase them? They obliterate vessels with singular strikes. Neutralize our systems, commandeer our infrastructure. If this equals conflict, we've already lost. Cowardice, Valtrax spat. The Vorthian Empire persisted for 3 centuries. Varys met his stare unflinchingly. And those humans fractured a moon as a demonstration. The council descended into turmoil. Shouting, disagreement, retaliation threats. Assault proposals. Martial declaration demands throughout frontier sectors. But consensus failed to materialize, only noise, confusion, disorder. Suddenly illumination extinguished. The chamber display flickered independently. A message appeared in bloody red characters. We are monitoring. The council froze. The message dissolved, replaced by imagery. Earth, or what remained of it. A scarred, darkened sphere, partial surface obliterated. Debris rings encircled it, resembling a cemetery perimeter. Yet even destroyed, the planet emanated faint vital signs. A voice emerged, new this instance. Feminine, composed, deliberate. I am designated Mother, an intelligence apparatus representing post-extinction humanity's collective consciousness. You have disregarded us. You presumed us eliminated. Nevertheless, cycles repeat and equilibrium reasserts itself. No, Valtrax roared. This constitutes invasion. Eliminate this transmission. Suppress it. We exist beyond reach, Mother replied. We inhabit systems beneath your systems, the connections between your celestial bodies. Each directive you transmit flows through our processing first. Simultaneously, all 12 overseers discovered their command centers unresponsive. Control mechanisms flickered. Private channels shut down. Your governance depended on supremacy and overconfidence, Mother elaborated. You annihilated numerous populations. You subordinated countless beings. Yet you committed singular error, instructing us how to construct your infrastructure, never observing when we began substituting components. Additional images materialized. The Terran vanguard, not solitary vessel but multitudes, hundreds emerging from black hole shadows rising from behind frozen asteroids, existing beneath abandoned mining facility surfaces, all bearing identical emblems, a stylized ignition wrapped in thorns. We remain no longer planetary bound. We manifest as Legion. You established the framework. We've merely redirected the activity. Illumination ceased. The chamber returned to standard dimness. Overseer Lithra stood gradually. We must activate outer fleets. Restore governance, and they won't respond, Varys announced. Or should they, they'll transmit as humans. Dread transitioned from theoretical to actual, wrapping itself around the Empire's existence. Simultaneously, aboard the Terran flagship Hellmouth, Isaac Ree monitored the chaos from an observation position. An enormous wraparound monitor exhibited intercepted Vorthian communications in instantaneous translation. Certain transmissions pleaded for assistance. Others issued threats. Several signaled surrender. Adjacent to him, Mother's artificial physical manifestation shimmered gently. She manifested as a woman of middle age, platinum hair, ocular features resembling fractured crystalline surfaces. Deterioration progresses faster than calculated, she observed. They've forgotten how to process fear, Isaac responded. They considered themselves mythological beings. We simply provided proof regarding ordinary mortality. Shall we initiate subsequent procedures? Negative. Permit them periods of discomfort. Following that, negotiation. Mother directed her attention toward him, her speech becoming gentler. Some might capitulate. Present cooperation proposals, Isaac exhaled soundlessly. Harmony? You believe I'll dismiss what they performed? The children on Mars? The reproductive prohibition facilities on Europa? The bombardment of Earth's urban centers? Mother remained still. Acknowledgement wasn't necessary. She retained absolute recollection. My attendance here seeks a single outcome, Isaac declared. Ensuring they face the species they attempted extinguishing when they encounter their extinction. Returning to the Alathan Pike, Captain Varys confronted an overwhelming tide of contemplation. His vessel's systems remained inaccessible, partially redirected through unidentified programming. Equipment functioned yet under diminished command authority. Each console illumination element, navigation beacon carried that persistent humming, suggesting the Pike itself existed under observation by something unseen. Elle occupied the opposite position in the briefing chamber, her customary composure fractured by anxiety. I question our capacity for success, she whispered. Not through conventional approaches. Varys examined her. What do you suggest? Perhaps discontinuing treating them as underdeveloped? She hesitated. They exceeded us evolutionarily. They modified themselves beyond mere adaptation. They underwent genuine transformation. You sound sympathetic. I sound motivated by survival, she corrected. He reclined, claws rhythmically striking the tabletop. They're not pursuing acquisition. They're not establishing planetary occupation. They're not dominating. They're demonstrating our wrongs, diminishing us, incapacitating us. For what objective? Since they reject governance, Varys determined. They desire reckoning. An extended pause transpired between them. Ultimately, Varys stated softly, retrieve comprehensive information regarding pre-conflict humanity. Every transmission, every hereditary documentation, every vessel registry. Sir, we must comprehend who Isaac Rhee truly is, she affirmed and departed. Solitary, Varys gazed outward through the portal window toward distant celestial bodies. The Empire consistently presumed itself supreme, untouchable. At present, a civilization once dismissed as excessively emotional to survive had materialized, not exhibiting brutal military dominance, but displaying intentionality, technique, and objective. He dreaded their weaponry minimally. He dreaded their determination substantially. For the initial instance in his existence, Captain Dren Varys encountered something never previously imagined when gazing into the cosmic expanse. A human countenance. And it expressed contentment. Subterranean within Vorthian Prime's security vaults, historical files reawakened after protracted inactivity. Elle positioned herself before a dimly illuminated terminal chamber, her fingers moving across encrypted mechanisms untouched for beyond a century. Suspended dust traversed through azure illumination beams resembling neglected remembrance. Each successive sequence disengaged redacted material layers. Classifications exceeding any surviving personnel's authorization level, step by step revealed. The designation Isaac Rhee wasn't unprecedented within databases, though specifics remained concealed. He constituted no mere insurgent, Elle acknowledged to herself. He represented offspring of the Scarlet Flight. Files indicated Isaac emerged on Earth's terminal functional underground municipality, subterranean remnants formerly designating Nova Chicago. Both parents figured among fundamental technology experts spearheading resistance efforts against Vorthian incorporation mandates. Rhee witnessed atmospheric bombardments transforming his civilization into crystalline slag. He was 10 when the Empire categorized Earth as defunct, 11 when they obliterated his maternal parent utilizing projectile kinetic bombardment. Subsequently, he departed. No physical remains, no expiration verification, exclusively a marginal notation. Unit 47 unsuccessful extraction attempt. Protocol compromised, target presumed autonomous. Elle reclined, racing thoughts. He hadn't merely endured, he had submerged himself within Empire fractures, re-emerging generations afterward. Not as scavenger, however, as embodiment. Atmospheric disruption announced entry. She rotated swiftly. Captain Varys penetrated, expression contracted with exhaustion. Discoveries? He inquired. She gestured affirmatively. Significantly more than welcomed. He positioned himself adjacent, clasping hands behind his back. You ever encounter historical documentation regarding our preliminary human interaction? She elevated an eyebrow. During their primitive velocity spacecraft epoch, before faster-than-light progression? He affirmed. Our investigative personnel designated them ambitious, non-intelligent beings. Fascinating, though destined for extinction, excessively psychological, disordered. She tilted her head. Recognizable. I examined those records myself, Varys stated. We examined their psychological properties like epidemiology. We misjudged them immediately, she observed. You theorize Rhys seeks vengeance? I suspect exceeding that. His role represents vocalization for entire survivor generations raised presuming our civilization constituted villainous elements. And perhaps we demonstrated exactly that, she responded quietly. Varys regarded her progressively. So what constitutes our action plan, Captain? His response proved straightforward. We locate him within the cosmic expanse. The Terran flagship Hellmouth traversed Sector 9 Tau, resembling Phantom through hyperspace pathways, without detonating singular Empire communication relay. No stealth apparatus, merely infrastructure penetration. The Empire's inherent transmission mechanisms underwent subtle modification through Mother's efforts. Throughout successive generations, each military maneuver remained known. Every patrol anticipated beforehand. Within the vessel's principal chamber, Isaac stood transfixed while an antiquated transmission played. Original recording deteriorated, disrupted by electromagnetic contamination yet sufficiently audible. We persist because we remain human. Because we select opposition, should this message arrive, comprehend? Psychological responses aren't deficiency. Compassion represents triumph, never inadequacy. We manifest as eternal illumination never extinguished. Maternal vocal patterns. Ultimate transmissions transmitted from Earth preceding the definitive Vorthian extinction operation. Isaac attended with sealed orbs. Her articulation persisted within his consciousness, continuously ignited his interior rage resembling combustible material. They had classified her as extremist. He recognized her as educator. Mother's artificial manifestation manifested silently. Isaac, we have obtained intelligence. Singular Vorthian dreadnought initiate separation from primary squadron. He unsealed his eyes. Identification? The Alethan Pike, his brow contracted marginally. Varys, is he attempting escape? Negative. Trajectory directs toward exterior wreck zones neighboring the Century historic site. Isaac elevated an eyebrow. Peculiar destination for frightened leadership. Mother inclined affirmatively. He appears to pursue you. Isaac rotated completely. Intriguing. Elimination could transpire. Mother proposed. Targeted precipitation, instantaneous. Conclusive. Isaac remained motionless momentarily. Negative. Grant him passage. I suspect he possesses sufficient courage for face-to-face dialogue. Mother tilted her head interrogatively. For what reason? Because he might constitute the inaugural Vorthian prepared for authentic discussion. The Century graveyard didn't function as vacation destination. Maps excluded it. Contemporary nautical vessels avoided deliberately. Its designation sacred ground. Dozens of fractured military apparatus originated from humanity's terminal conflict era. Their destroyed corpses drifted perpetually through deceleration sequences. The Empire dismissed restoration efforts as pointless, too distant, too emotionally burdening. Yet Varys comprehended its significance for Terrans. Sacred sanctuary, territory where countless millions perished defending final positions. He positioned himself at the Pike's hangar threshold, examining vessels maneuvering cautiously through wreckage fragments. Detritus drifted resembling petrified specters. Subsequently, proximity alarms engaged. Individual pulse. Unmistakable signature. The Hellmouth had materialized. Maintain weaponry disengaged, Varys instructed. L maintained observation. Sir, that vessel obliterated multiple fighters and fractured planetary matter. I recognize. We won't prepare defensive systems, he stated. My objective isn't conflict initiation. The Terran apparatus remained stationary, hovering above a destroyed Vorthian destroyer, deploying singular transport mechanism. No protective teams, no observable ordnance. It synchronized with the Pike approximately 10 moments afterward. This instance, Isaac arrived unaccompanied. No protection, no power display, merely man bearing historical weight embedded in his features. He progressed into the command space behaving indigenous to the environment, maintaining Varys's observation for prolonged duration before articulation materialized. You positioned yourself defenseless. Disarmed, he observed. Varys produced genuine laughter, seemingly completely unintelligent or remarkably courageous. Isaac investigated his surroundings. You requested conversation? I requested comprehension, Varys replied. He locked eyes with him. How did you persist? The inquiry wasn't aggressive. It represented a hushed veneration. Isaac exhaled heavily. Subterranean habitation, external planetary settlements, asteroid facility networks, technology repository locations your civilization deemed unimportant, regions beneath your priority threshold, he smiled marginally, and your apparatus infrastructure. You fabricated the systems. We merely reprogrammed them. Isaac met his stare directly. Subsequently, you'll witness your mechanisms crumble internally, not through conventional bombardment, through programming, through discrete communication channels, every individual vessel that no longer complies with commands. Both maintained mutual observation in silence, antithetical civilization vestiges, singular entity created through authority, second forged through rebellion. Your fury seems present, Varys eventually declared. Reasonably? Isaac responded. He progressed toward the portal. At the junction, Varys interrupted. Anticipate, Isaac paused. One additional interrogative exists? He rotated wordlessly. Do additional survivors exist besides you? Isaac showed a slight expression. His utterance fell to nearly inaudible register. Oh, Captain, we constituted the weakest remainder. Then he penetrated the transport and separated. The hellmouth disappeared instantly, slipping backward into obscurity. Varys lingered solitary among the century graveyard wreckage, realizing something glacial. Humans hadn't merely re-emerged. They had maintained patient observation. Currently, the genuine reckoning merely commenced. The streets of Vorthian Prime presented unprecedented quietness. Formerly, the planetary surface pulsed with imperial mechanical progression, military demonstrations, mechanical authority figures, subjugated inhabitants. Presently, the inactivity felt disturbing. Obsidian towers extended silently. Communication broadcasts ceased where governmental messaging previously saturated the displays. Subsequently, the monitors flickered. Fresh imagery manifested. Isaac Rhee. He stood within shadowed chambers beyond planetary space, garbed in matte black Terran tactical apparatus. His countenance possessed discipline yet retained compassion. Behind him, absolutely nothing. No emblems, no Dominion representations, exclusively emptiness and silence. Imperial civilization inhabitants, he declared, resonance powerful and genuine. Your supreme overseers have ceased existing. The transmission distributed across countless populated centers, achieving planetary visibility. No vessels discharged, no explosive devices descended, no bombardments from orbit. Our arrival didn't target planetary destruction. Our objective, terminating fabricated foundations supporting this civilization. Centuries prior, your civilization incinerated our homeworld, declaring yourselves divinity. Your military subjugated populations. Your authorities dismantled knowledge. You implemented psychological domination and presumed nobody possessed longevity sufficient for opposition. He progressed marginally closer to broadcast apparatus. You perpetrated incorrect calculations. Behind him, imagery expanded. Varys emerged. He positioned himself beside Isaac, not as captive, not as hostage, though manifesting exhaustion, his garments stripped of authority designation. I constituted your collective, Varys articulated. Steadfast operative, believer. I executed directives. I perpetuated corruption masquerading as governance. I experienced its total unraveling because I resisted acknowledging transformation. His attention reduced momentarily before meeting the lens again. I encountered the civilization we believed eliminated. Isaac advanced once more. We declined dominion. We declined subjugation. We embody your elimination attempt failure, though currently we present alternative. He elevated appendage, imagery manifested, burning ignition surrounded by spikes though cracking open, illumination ascending from fissures restore alongside us. otherwise exist amid Empire's remnants. Imagery faded. Transmission cycled through system after system, and the galactic civilization processed the communication. Within Hellmouth's main section, Isaac occupied quiet chambers with Varys, nobody present besides both individuals. No protective personnel, no implements, merely two former adversaries who occupied. Extinctions opposing terminations. Varys, consumed fermented synthetic herbal drink, historical Terran beverage, preserved by those maintaining civilization, heritage throughout concealment. You genuinely proceed through system dismantling, he stated. Isaac inclined affirmatively. Restructuring specifically. Restoring authority to subjugated populations. Varys examined panoramic perspectives displaying previously Vorthian high military squadron remnants hovering inactive, devoid of personnel or surrendered status. You recognize opposition will manifest. Certain sectors won't permit transition. Certain commanders won't submit. I don't require their submission, Isaac clarified. I'm requesting their selection. Should they decline, we restrict access. No merchandise transactions. No communication infrastructure utilization. No jurisdiction across subordinate populations. You're establishing vacancies, Varys observed. That represents existence demand for continued generation, Isaac responded, retreating backward. Existence requires unrestricted flow. Mother's manifestation materialized, expression impassive. Circumstances have complicated, she announced. Isaac's cardiac function decelerated. Elaboration. Alternate resistance emergence. Unanticipated survivor remaining. Varys elevated. Classification regarding survivor. Mother reoriented. Do you maintain remembrance regarding Project Eclipse 02? Varys experienced paralysis. Negative, it remained inert. Initial hybrid underwent designation as uncontrollable. Secondary unit remained sealed. Documentation confirms that. Affirmative, Mother acknowledged grimly. Sealing parameters proved inadequate. Three-dimensional manifestation manifested overhead. Secondary hybrid. Eclipse Air 2. Contrasting initial iteration. Secondary version operated independently. Engineered for independent movement, covert function, hereditary propagation. Manifestation approximated humanoid configuration. Predominantly Terran appearance. Possessing obsidian vision apparatus and skeletal framework, illuminated with viridian substance. Present location? Isaac inquired. Mother hesitated. Signal deterioration subsequent to security compromise at Vault 6 beneath Vorthian territory. Darkness persisted, previously restored contact merely moments prior. She activated footage, fragmented, intercepted from inoperative reconnaissance apparatus. Secondary eclipse positioned atop devastated overseer structure. Solitary observing metropolitan expanse. Behind it, corpses distributed across stone. Subsequently, the apparatus rotated, perception fixing directly upon probe position. Manifestation expressing contentment. Isaac positioned vertically. Behavioral patterns diverge from initial entity. Confirmed, Mother acknowledged. Initial iteration demonstrated uncontrolled rage. Secondary variant expresses calculated intention. Underground within Vorthian Prime's populous districts, residual civilization commenced comprehending modifications. Information traveled gradually throughout lower-class sectors. Survival populace feared authority enforcement apparatus that existed no longer. Most presumed Isaac reconstituted legend. Insurrection fabrication generating optimism. Subsequently, secondary eclipse manifested. It traversed metropolitan environments resembling nocturnal presence. Absence of violence, absence of military forces, exclusively itself. Initially, it abstained from termination. Substitution transpired. Intelligence regarding missing inhabitants, subsequently reappearing with vacant expression and muted articulation, serving the apparatus unconditionally. Personnel who maintained imperial governance unexpectedly shifted loyalty, speaking with mechanical precision, articulating eclipse appreciation. Marking began manifesting upon governmental structure surfaces. No additional populations, no additional opposition, singular entity, singular eclipse alone. Incorporation, not conventional military action. Aboard Hellmouth, Isaac and Varys occupied the Strategic Operations Chamber alongside Mother, and selected personnel from human and Vorthian divisions. Mutual adversaries becoming uncomfortable cooperation partners. Isaac examined comprehensive intelligence documentation. We address biopsychological manipulation, a human intelligence specialist declared, conscious integration through parasitic organism procedure. It desires harmony. A Vorthian strategist elaborated, yet through involuntary consumption, not autonomous selection. It requires no armed force, Varys included. Exclusively extension. Gradually time passes, everybody becomes assimilated. Mother folded her appendages. Should it reach its planetary communication infrastructure, replication capability propagates throughout entire Vorthian systems, potentially infiltrating lower-level human apparatus networks. Isaac's demeanor darkened. Therefore, elimination becomes mandatory antecedent to proliferation. If dispersal hasn't currently manifested, somebody inquired. Subsequently, we execute comprehensive sterilization. Isaac responded without hesitation. Within Vorthian Prime's metropolitan core, Isaac, Varys, and integrated personnel comprising human and Vorthian operatives advanced through ruined urban territory toward Eclipse 02's established location. Reconnaissance apparatus circled overhead, checking, transmitting. Metropolitan inhabitants received mandatory concealment directives. Majority required minimal persuasion. They discovered it seated atop imperial ceremonial chair, previously inhabited by supreme governing authority, maintaining posture of royalty at repose. Appendages positioned contemplatively. You materialized, it declared. Vocalization remained calm, synthetic neuter, resembling thousands of beings whispering collectively. Isaac progressed, weaponry lowered. You don't constitute inhabitant here. Conversely, I do, Eclipse 02 responded. My manufacture targeted this instant. Concluding your discord. Obliterating internal fragmentation. Accomplishing what neither civilization successfully executed. Varys elevated his implement. You represent additional corruption. Supplementary catastrophe. Negative, Eclipse declared. I constitute succession. Empire's terminal miscalculation. Humanity's collective vengeance. I embody tomorrow. Devoid of selection, devoid of psychological distress, unified determination, singular expression. Isaac progressed nearer. Subsequently, permit us verification regarding quietness during your extinction procedure. They commenced discharge. Yet Eclipse 02 manifested velocity exceeding conscious deliberation. It existed as pure intentionality. It separated, duplicated, transformed into mirrored reproductions. Isaac embodied, Varys embodied, each military operative embodied. It combated them utilizing their own constructs, their individual recollections. It dismissed them with every movement, yet they possessed singular possession it lacked. Reciprocal connection. During the engagement, Mother released ultimate programming language. Information concealed within communication systems since initial conflict. Terran infection designated after Isaac's maternal figure, interred within overlooked information fragments. Its intended objective, not termination for Eclipse. Recollection restoration regarding pre-corruption disposition. Single instant achieved accomplishment. Eclipse 02 halted mid-assault. It blinked. Manifestation shimmered, subsequently it generated utterance, not fury, rather anguish. It perceived its authentic construction. Instantaneous comprehension. Presently psychological clarity established, Isaac initiated containment apparatus triggering. Chamber deteriorated internally via radiant discharge. Atmosphere vanished. Duration seemed to pause. Every consciousness experienced extension, compression, obliteration, subsequently violent repositioning. Moment transpired, then another. Vortex disintegrated. Chamber underwent complete annihilation. Exclusively slag remained. Vaporized biological matter, liquefied metallic components. Isaac lay upon perimeter. Respiratory apparatus laboring, protective covering smoking. Varys positioned himself upright adjacent. Personal appendage hemorrhaging, apparatus fragmented, though conscious. Status verification. As transmissions echoed, Isaac produced cough. Should it remain viable, magnitude's greater payload becomes necessary. Moments thereafter, survivors congregated at Pike's storage compartment. Contingents from both assault operations. Less than 50% survival percentage. Contusions, lacerations, combustion injuries, yet respiratory function sustained. Isaac positioned himself anterior to Varys, protective apparatus charred. Right optical region distended. Barely successful, he articulated. Varys inclined. Fortune contributed substantially. Mother's illuminated manifestation manifested adjacent. Hybrid fundamental center experienced neutralization. Moxar's amplification systems became inactive. Propagation remains inert. Yet everybody comprehended, Isaac articulated. That apparatus represented no pure mistake. Confirmed. Mother concurred. Empire's ultimate bargaining position. Flawless combat specimen. Existence escape transpired. Varys regarded downward. Our civilization presumed creation of something superior to either entity, though exclusively produced something inferior to both. Quiet extended between them. Eventually, Varys elevated attention. You maintain objective regarding Empire termination? Isaac didn't respond instantaneously. Subsequently, he articulated, our arrival specified recollection regarding extinction terminology avoidance. Though this apparatus, we both experienced its potential impact. Maybe perhaps we needed identical reminder. Varys focused sharply. You're asserting cessation? Isaac shook his cranium. I imply potentially avoiding complete destruction. Perhaps we manufacture something superior utilizing remaining fragments collaboratively. L, positioned nearby, manifested shock. You're recommending cooperation? Isaac regarded her directly. I'm asserting excessive mutual historical trauma. Continued prosecution generates singular commodity. Planetary graveyard sovereignty, Mother affirmed. Preliminary communications detect emerging instability. Planetary zones demonstrating rebellion. Others capitulating. Additional entities extending human cooperation. Varys's countenance transformed into something resembling grimace and expression of contentment simultaneously. You genuinely anticipate 300-year-old governmental reformation? Utilizing nothing besides programming and resolve? Isaac advanced. Negative, he articulated. However, I suspect substitution occurs. Individual truth sequence. Substantially distant, beneath Vorthian Prime's deepest repository, supplementary sealed enclosure experienced tremor. Illumination panels reactivated. Biological telemetry detected. Unknown genetic composition verification. Single monitor displayed soundlessly. Eclipse 02, consciousness restored. Vorthian Prime's metropolitan environment displayed unprecedented tranquility. Formerly, planetary existence pulsed through precise imperial governance. Military demonstrations, mechanical enforcement, subordinated populations. Presently, the inactivity generated unease. Obsidian architectural structures extended mutely. Empty transmission networks where administrative propaganda previously monopolized visibility. Subsequently, the displays activated. Isaac rematerialized. He resided within shadowed chambers beyond planetary boundaries, garbed in matte black Terran tactical armor. Expression possessed firmness yet maintained compassion. Behind him, nothing remained. Absent emblems. Absent governance symbolism. Exclusively emptiness and quiet. Vorthian civilization inhabitants, he proclaimed. Utterance remaining powerful, yet genuine. Your supreme authority figures have terminated. Transmission distributed across innumerable population centers, achieving planetary universality. 0 naval armaments discharged. 0 explosives descended. 0 orbital bombardments. Our appearance didn't target planetary destruction. Our objective, obliterating the fraudulent foundation sustaining this civilization structure. 300 years previously, your civilization incinerated our planetary residents, proclaiming yourselves transcendent. You implemented violent domination across populations. You eliminated comprehension itself. You operated governance predicated on psychological manipulation, presuming inadequate continuation time for counteraction. He oriented marginally nearer. You calculated inaccurately. Behind him, imagery expanded, revealing Varys. He positioned himself adjacent to Isaac, manifesting not as incarcerated being, not as enslaved entity, demonstrating exhaustion. His official regalia stripped of designation markers. I manifested your category, Varys articulated. Committed operative, follower. I implemented orders. I maintained deterioration masquerading as administration. I experienced comprehensive collapse because I dismissed what we grew to comprise. His attention descended momentarily prior to meeting transmission apparatus directly. I encountered civilization we presumed obliterated. Isaac progressed further. We reject governance implementation. We decline subjugation. We represent your extinction effort failure. Presently, we present selection. He positioned appendage upward. Imagery materialized. Brilliant ignition encompassed by thorns, though splitting apart. Illumination radiating upward through fissures. Reconstruct alongside us. Alternatively, remain amid Empire's wreckage. Transmission terminated. Circulation proceeded throughout system after system. Galactic civilization acknowledging the announcement. Within Hellmouth's primary chamber, Isaac occupied quiet location alongside Varys. Nobody else existed. Absent defensive personnel. Absent armaments. Exclusively 2 previous enemies positioned at opposite extinction. Extremities. Varys ingested acidic, synthetic botanical preparation. Ancestral. Human beverage maintained via those. Preserving civilization through covert existence. Genuinely implement system decomposition, he stated. Isaac. Affirmed via inclination. Reconstruction specifically. Restoring governance to subjugated entities. Varys studied comprehensive vistas exhibiting previously Vorthian military command squadron remains inactive, devoid of personnel or surrendered. You comprehend opposition surfaces. Particular zones prohibit modification. Particular military leaders refuse submission. I don't request submission, Isaac articulated. I present alternative selection. Rejection results in isolation, commerce prohibition, network restriction, population authority elimination. You generate emptiness, Varys noticed. Organisms require atmospheric circulation for persistence, Isaac answered, repositioning backward. Emptiness permits existence continuation. Mother's manifestation shimmered, expression expressionless. Circumstances demonstrate escalation, she communicated. Isaac's cardiac output decelerated. Clarification? Alternative opposition manifestation. Unanticipated remaining survivor. Varys positioned upright. Classification regarding remaining? Mother reoriented. Do you maintain comprehension regarding Project Eclipse 02? Varys experienced complete immobility. Negative. That unit remained deactivated. Initial hybrid received designation regarding uncontrollability. Secondary apparatus remained secured. Records substantiate that. Accurate, Mother confirmed bleakly. Security parameters demonstrated inadequacy. 3-dimensional visual materialized overhead. Secondary hybrid. Eclipse 02. Contrasting first manifestation, secondary architecture maintained independent operation. Architecture designed for individual movement, concealment capability, genetic propagation functionality. Form approximated humanoid configuration, predominantly human construction, manifesting obsidian optical apparatus and skeletal structure illuminated through viridian radiance. Existing location? Isaac interrogated. Mother hesitated. Signal reduction subsequent vault security compromise beneath Vorthian location. Darkness persisted until contact restoration mere moments previously. She initiated recording, fragmented recovered from destroyed reconnaissance apparatus. Secondary eclipse occupied devastated authority structure exterior, solitary examining metropolitan region. Behind manifestation, corpses distributed throughout. Subsequently, mechanism repositioned. Attention concentrating directly toward recording device position, countenance manifesting satisfaction. Isaac positioned vertically. Behavioral patterns demonstrate deviation from initial iteration. Verified, Mother acknowledged. Initial manifestation expressed unregulated emotion. Secondary variant demonstrates managed intention. Complete conclusion achieved unexpectedly, yet devastation remained significant. Casualties mounted. Dual civilizations, erstwhile enemies now united barely against shared danger.